What's up, everybody? Your boy Blake Money Blakeweather, Loaded Joe's MMA podcast, and this is kind of like a special episode. I don't know what to call this. 'Cause I don't know what to do with my hands. This is really like I've been making a lot of friends. I want to thank everybody out there, every single one of y'all. Again, shout outs to all of our sponsors. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I really just want to get to some of y'all's questions, man. First question. This one came from Twitter. This one came from Art of War. Shout outs to Sun Tzu. I don't even know that's his real name. It says, who is the hottest ring card girl? And he wants me to debate about this. The hottest ring card girl for me is Edith. You remember Edith? If you've been watching UFC for a long time, you guys know who Edith is. She helped me get through many a night. Honestly. And if I can't be honest with y'all, where can I be honest? Yeah, I think Edith is the hottest of all time. But like actively, outside of that, I mean, the hottest ring card girl. It's whoever sleeps with me first. They get that title. That's real talk. Next question comes from former guest of the show, Shamrock FC fighter. Shout out to Erion Zekti. Erion Zekti says, it's not a nice question at all, but when was your first gay experience? Bonus points off if it was your last. I don't like that question, but I'll answer it. Well, two things, Edion. Well, one, I know a guy who is, whose name I'm scratching off of my future guest list. And two, I'm telling Chump about this. Fucked up kind of name is Edion anyways. I'm telling him. You're the first one. Not flying, motherfucker. Favorite fighter. Who is my favorite fighter? My favorite fighter is GSP. And anybody who's listened to the show knows I like to make pretend I can do a mean GSP impersonation. And GSP always is, he's in my head like day to day. Right? He's narrating my life. Like some people got Morgan Freeman narrating their life, but I got GSP with his fucked up English. And Michael Bisping, and not impressed with your performance. And ladies, I've heard a lot of things about GSP. I know he's into the dark meat. So all you white girls in Canada need to start getting some tans if y'all think y'all trying to make babies with GSP. That's all I got to say about that. Favorite drink at the bar. My favorite drink, I've actually made it tonight. It's an old fashioned. I love it. An old fashioned, you can only make it one way, with one kind of whiskey. It has to be rye whiskey. If you've never had an old fashioned, you got to get it with rye whiskey. My ice is a little bit melty, but I still accept life for what it is. You got to get it with the rye whiskey. If you don't, you're a fuck boy. Even if you're a girl, you a fuck boy too. I'm not holding back. I got to tell the truth just like it is. You know what? Like if you get old fashioned with anything other than rye whiskey, you are probably still the same type of person that like jacks off to the magazine still, right? Like there's so many websites. You a pilgrim. What is you doing? Don't do that. You're the same type of person, right? That will fart like in a public setting, like when there's people around. But you won't say you'll blame the next person. You'll blame Frank next. Yeah, Frank did it. You're the type of person that like you living with somebody. You got like roommates or something. They're the type of person that will leave some of the crumbs at the bottom of the chip bag, right? And then still put the chip clip on it. And then you go over there and you try to get some chips, and it's just nothing. It's just nothing but like, piece of dust. It's like fossils. It's what am I supposed to do with fossils? What am I supposed to do with this? I'm just gonna throw this away. what's the opposite of savage? Because that's that's the type of person you are. What made me get into MMA? Man, I got into MMA because I used to have a trainer that would at Gold's Gym. Shout outs to Robert. His last name is Robert Rodriguez, right? Like the director. This one directed my martial arts life, right? And they put me up with this trainer, and he wanted to train kickboxing. Like he was low key, right? It paid me $25 like for personal lessons like every week. Like looking back, like that kind of sounded like a ripoff, right? Because he's working at Gold's. Motherfucker, you got money, but I was young, dumb, and I was still a virgin then. Yes, I was full of cum, and yeah, man, I got into MMA in 2009. And it was a Gold's Gym trainer, and he started training me in the ways of the martial arts. And he used to beat my ass. We would spar, and he would beat the fuck out of my leg, like my leg mainly. Like he threw some nasty leg kicks. I remember one time, like we were training, and he would have like he would have like a few other people that he convinced. He could teach him martial, and he was good. He was a good teacher, right? Like he taught me enough, like where I wanted to be in. But he fucked up my leg one day. We were kind of lightly sparring, but leg kicks he would not hold back. And there was a girl in class, and she was really, really hot. And I was a fat fuck. I thinking to have a chance with her, right? And I'm training Mark, and he's kicking the fuck out of my leg, dude. And I keep going. I stop, and I keep going. Push through the pain, and he kicks me when I fell to the ground. He kicked me, so it wasn't that, I don't think it was impact, but it's just the accumulation. I was just like, ah! And I started crying. I didn't give a fuck how hot that girl was. I started crying my little, but it wasn't like bad, like, it wasn't like I was throwing a fit. It was just like tears were coming, my eyes watered. It was just like, ah! And he was just like, maybe we should stop. And I was, yeah, that's cool, man. I didn't give a fuck. Like, one, I had too much pride. I wanted to kind of show off for the girl. Don't do that, guys. Don't show off for no girl. Like, especially, when you're fat fuck. Like, don't do that, man. Just be you. I lost weight, right? But like, that's not the point of this. This is a different story. But I got into it, man, because of that. And he would tell me, like, watch this UFC fight or watch that UFC fight, and I go watch UFC at the local bar, and I just get into it. And I wasn't even 21. I was 20, and I knew a lot of the girls that worked at Twin Peaks. Matter of fact, like, how I know so many girls that worked at Twin Peaks, and I was still a virgin then. Like, I was a late bloomer. That's a different story, though. But how the fuck did I don't know, man. I look back on my life sometimes. It's fucked up. It's stupid. I was stupid. Anyways, that's how I got into it, and then I just kind of continued with it. I fell in love with it, man. Most embarrassing moment. Somebody wants to know my most embarrassing moment. Again, all these questions. I love all the fans who are asking all these questions. Most embarrassing. There's a lot of embarrassing moments, right? Like, I've lived a long life. I'd say it's like the most accomplished life, but this is a very long life. 28 years. 28 years young. Shout outs to all my 88 babies. If you're born in 88, not if you're 88 years old, but if you're born in 88. What was I saying? The whiskey got a hold of me. Whiskey, a hell of a drug. Most embarrassing moment. Okay, so there's a story I remember, and I remember this because I was in 7th grade. I always remember this story for some reason. I think of embarrassing moments. Just got back from lunch. We were in math class. And, man, there's this real pretty girl. Shout outs to Ashley Holman. She got 3 kids now, and I don't. What's up now? But, like, you ever look back and, like, you look a little bit better when you're older, and, like, the other girl don't look too, I mean, she's still good, but, like, whatever, man. I don't Facebook stalk anybody. So this hot girl, man, everybody wanted a piece of her. And we were at the Catholic school, right? So we weren't all up in each other's guts, but everybody wanted to hold hands with her and hug her. And, like the guys, like they wanted to like say they were going out with her. And like going out like in Catholic school is like you're gonna dance all the songs with me, like with the dances. And I get to bring you like the occasional flower. And it's the slow dances too, like when Usher come on. What else you get to do? You get to kiss, right? You get to hold hands when we go on field trips. Like we go on field trips sometimes to like Houston or whatever. And I get to hold hands and like share headphones, right? But anyways, she was single at the time too. I remember this. Say all this because you need to know the background. So Ashley comes around, and I'm doing my math. Right? We're doing like it's like work assignments. Like you could work in a group or by yourself. Motherfucker like me want to do my work by myself so I could get it done real quick. And I remember Ashley. I had my hand. Ashley comes by and like. I have my hand on the desk like this, and she puts her hand on, and I got so nervous, and I was because it was her, right? And I got so nervous, and I flinched, like I did like this, like I did like that, and I farted. She was like, "Oh my God, what was that?" And like it was like you're 7th grade, right? Like you can't, you obviously you don't have the comebacks that you do when you're older. I don't want to own that shit. I was that guy. I was that fuck boy, right? That. Would have drank like a different kind of whiskey instead of rye with my old fashioned. I was that kid. I farted, right? And like her best friend was next to her, and they're like, "Oh my God, Blake farted." I'm like, "No, that was the chair, right?" Like I just made some lame excuse. I was a fuck boy, dude. I always feel like I'm using fuck boy wrong, but the way I mean it is just like you fuck off. And like fuck boy apparently means play. I don't get that. Yeah, that was very embarrassing. I needless to say, she never went out with me or became my girlfriend, and I like to think that was the pinnacle moment in the relationship that could have been. But man, fuck her. I like farting. But it was after lunch, right? Like that's what I said. I was after lunch. You know, like sometimes you cannot control your bodily functions. Anyways, man. How old were you when you popped your cherry? So like when I popped my own cherry, or like when somebody else did it? I don't know the context of this question. I think I was around the age everybody, 10, 11, 12, right? When you popping your own cherry, right? You practicing for the big game, like what's his name's dad says on American Pie. Well, first time I had sex, man, I was 22 and a half. I got thrown in the half, right? I was a fuckboy up until then. And it was an awesome night, right? Like, I was playing it cool. It was this girl, like, it was this girl, like, I'd seen. And she was a few years younger than me, but she was hot as fuck. And I'm like, when you become of age, we probably will have some sort of consensual sex if I'm of age and we in the same social setting. And the stars aligned that night. It was New Year's Eve, going in from 2010 to 2011. Dope as fuck, right? Like, I had a blast. But, like, the next morning, right? Like, yeah, obviously, we had, done stuff where, our genitalias are in each other's mouths type thing. That's a weird word. But, yeah, she sucked my dick and then I, went down on her type thing. It was such a crazy experience, right? Because I was like going down on her and like my friend comes in and throws a condom in and he's like, protection, and turns the lights on. And I'm butt ass naked, she's butt ass naked, it was crazy. But like, so the next day we find out like she was on her period. Oh my God, dude. And if you've never been there, like, if a girl never tell you she trifling, dude, that's trifling right there. But like, there was blood stains everywhere on the bed. Fuck. My friend said it looked like a CSI investigation. I don't think it didn't look that bad, right? But it was just like, fuck, man. I would talk to my 2011-year-old self, like right after, and it's just like, bro, what are you doing? What kind of life are you living, man? Go find Jesus. 2011 Blake, early 2011 Blake, late 2011 Blake. Dabs to you, buddy. I became a man that year. I might have gotten too far in that story. Do I have a guilty pleasure? Yes, I do. I'm a huge sucker for EDM and Jersey Shore. Oh my God, dude! Like, I was so heavy into Jersey Shore, man. They called me at work. They called me Situation. That was my nickname for Money Blakeweather. But like, yeah, man, I'm a huge Jersey Shore fan. And like, not all reality TV though, right? Like, I don't like Kardashians. I don't like Real World. I don't like any of that shit. But like, some reason, Jersey Shore, man. And I'm a huge fan of EDM. Like, I love the culture though. I love everything about it. Like I love the music, but like Jersey Shore, right? Like, what captivated me about that? I don't fucking know. Right? I can't answer that question for you. But what I can say is situation with my favorite character. I love entertainment. I think that's kind of where I'm a huge fan. I'm a sucker for entertainment. Like, if you're a Chael Sonnen fan, you're obviously a sucker for you're a Conor McGregor fan, you're a sucker for entertainment. Like, you love it, right? And I feel like maybe you might like Jersey Shore. I don't know, man. Like, don't let the haters detract you, right? The Conor McGregor and Chael Sonnen fan, don't let the haters detract you. Don't let them keep you down. That's definitely one of my guilty pleasures, man. I like to go back and watch Jersey Shore from time to time. And don't judge me. Only God can judge me. Don't be that guy. Where did Money Blakeweather come from? Where did Money Blakeweather come from? It's actually a co-worker of mine when I worked at a call center for GM, and I was a huge Mayweather fan, and I would be, how was your calls today? Like, when we were fresh out on the floor, I'd be like, how was your calls today, man? I'd be like, man, I'm undefeated, 49 and, what was he, 42 and 0, baby, 43 and 0, whatever. I was just going off, right, like Mayweather would. He's like, all right, I see you, Money. I see you, Money Blakeweather. And that just kind of really stuck, right? And really that created the embodiment of the money Blakeweather that we know now, right? That's where it's all started from. Like, I'd always had, like, I'm a very humble person. Anybody gets it, but just like they created kind of this alter ego. It's not facade at all. Like, this is who I am, but just kind of like this other person, this other me, that was expressive and flamboyant, and man, I was a dime piece in 2011, man. I'm not so much. I'm kind of dimey. I'm like a dime that you kind of got a little rust on it right now. You know what I'm saying? I haven't, been working out like I need to, but like, man, I was wearing that tight Express shirts where I was fist pumping like a fucking champ. That's where that come from, though. It was a coworker of mine. Shout out to Jeff, my boy Jeff, man. Hope he's doing well. But he made that flow. He made that flow. Yeah, I like this, man. This is fun. Hey, man, one more question. I'll get on out of here. What made you want to start a podcast? And when did you start the podcast? I want to start a podcast because, like, I had a lot of people like tell me I would have It's crazy, right? Like, I was that friend. Like, everybody has that one friend, like, want to sit down with them and just talk conspiracy theories. But I was that friend that wants to sit down with you and just talk MMA with people who didn't give a fuck about MMA, and they're just like, you got to do something with this. You're gonna do something. Like, it's gonna be great. I can see you do something with this. And this is like 2012, 13. I would drag people out. 2009, 10, 11, 12 even, and I dragged them out to watch fights with me. At like Twin Peaks or wherever the fuck we would go, right? I dragged them out to watch fights, or I'd stop the night before we'd go downtown to watch fights. And man, I've just been a huge fight fan. And so I really got into it in 2014, and I actually created it was like a fantasy league. Like, you could pick, like, it was like a 3-month thing, and you could pick like 12 fighters. It was a fucking cool setup, and everybody threw in $20, and after the 3 months, kind of like how real fans, not this bullshit like pick 5 players in a night, like, and hope that they score knockouts. Like, that's some dumb shit. I'm just salty because I never win money. But the podcast came out of that with all the people that I started the league with. We all kind of got together one day, and I've been listening to a lot of Joe Rogan and Fire and the Kid, MMA Roasted. Like, those were all influences to get me to start podcasting. And I figured out everything from day one, and I just kind of put it all together. And I borrowed the mic. I borrowed all the equipment from one of my friends, one of the guys. Shout outs to Ryan, his roommate Casey. And we set up upstairs where we go watch the fights at his house. It was like a kind of like a man cave type area, and we did a podcast, and like everybody I think was blown away because it used to be a lot more. That's why the Loaded Joes. Like it used to be more Joes. I'm just the one Survivor Joe. I always feel like when I say Loaded Joes and it's just me, it's kind of like that scene in is an Adam Sandler movie and Brendan Fraser movie. Oh, Airheads. The movie Airheads. And they had a group in that movie. They had a rock group called the Lone Rangers. And the whole like joke the whole movie is like, how are you the Lone Rangers, right? Like lone is like it's plural, or Rangers is plural and lone is singular. Like you can't have Lone Rangers. It's lone, you know, you guys got all the Rangers. And I'm the one Joe, but it's Loaded Joe. It started with many Joes, right? But they've kind of, you know, I stuck on with this, but that's how this started, man. December 2014. It used to be a once a month thing. And I realized, you know, we got to bump this shit up. So, yeah, man, we've come a long way. We've come a long way, man. But yeah, please, let's do this again, guys. I like hanging out, answering y'all's questions. So if you have any more questions, please submit them. I'll do another one where I just drink all night. Do another one where I do this and just talk some shit. And, you know, we have some fun with it, right? Because that's what it's all about. So thank you to everybody. Shout out to all of our sponsors: Zen Soap, Boston Kickboxing Academy, NLP Media, Gear Athletics, GetGearWorldwide.com, Elite Sports, 5 Buck MMA. Shout outs to all of them, man. Yeah, look out for us to make some moves. This has been Getting to Know Your Podcast Host. Hi. Getting to Know Your Podcast Host with Blake Weather. And I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope everybody's enjoying the shows. And yeah, please, we'll try to do another one, like maybe in the next 2 weeks or something. And yeah, y'all have a good night. Y'all stay safe. And I got a question for y'all before we get out of here, man. I got a question for y'all, and y'all get back to me. Yeah, instead of y'all asking me, I'm gonna ask y'all a question, and then we get out of here. We'll just end it with a question. I feel like it's only right? Ask me, I ask you questions. What is a second world country problems? Like, at what point do we have second world country? Like, I've honestly thought about this, right? Like, I want to say sometimes, like, not like recently, but like, you know, when I used to be broke and shit. Like, do I have second world problems? What's a second world problem? Because like first world problem, right? Like, there's a Starbucks. I don't want to drive to it, right? But like third world problem is like, what the fuck is Starbucks? When can I have my next meal? So like, what's in between? What's a second world country? If somebody can just put in the comments what a second world country is or what a second world problem is, I would be very much appreciated, because this has been riddling me for a part of my life. I'd love to settle this dispute. So please answer the question. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm a Loaded Joe. Y'all are all Loaded Joes with me. Loaded Joe Army. Let's keep this going, man. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.